Good afternoon, everyone. We appreciate you being with us today. My name is Olivia Rios, and I'm Director of Operations and Programs here at the LA Latino Chamber. And I'm glad to see many of our members. And if you are new, welcome. We have an exciting webinar for you this afternoon. Today, we will explore how many of us miss out on potential opportunities only because our story or the narrative of our business is not on point. Today's speaker is Melissa Tong, an award-winning storyteller, and she will teach us how to craft your story to build trust. I know Melissa has so much to tell us. I've been working with Melissa, I guess, on and off for the last couple of years, and this week seemed the prime time for us to do a webinar because many of you are, like I said, missing out on opportunities only because we don't have our narrative straight. And storytelling is the biggest number one factor that helps you sell, whether it's a commodity or a service. So I want to welcome Melissa at this time. Hello, Melissa. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited. I mean, you guys are really in it, in for a treat. And before I start, I just want to get a very just get some ideas, right? So how many of you are B2B and how many of you are B2C? So B2B is business to business, B2C is business to consumers. Both. Okay. Both. Okay. And also, I would encourage you, if you have any questions at all, just feel free to put it in the chat. I will try to monitor it and then answer accordingly. And if somehow I miss it, I'm sure Olivia will be monitoring. Okay, so we have one B2C so far. Okay, perfect. How many of you are products versus how many of you are service or both? Product service.
More.
Okay. More service. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Good. I'm glad because service is always harder in terms of stories, product, it is what it is. You can see, you can feel. It's more tangible. And service is always, not hard. It's just a little bit, takes a little bit more of crafting. That's all. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna share screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Yes? Perfect. Okay, we're gonna start. Crafting a buzzworthy brand story to stand out from your competitors. Now, I'm going to give you just a little bit of my background. So I began my career actually as a TV newscaster. So I switched from being a TV newscaster to a Hollywood movie producer. And then when I was still in the news, I crafted, interviewed thousands of people from all walks of life, and then crafted over 1,200 on-air stories. And then I started my company, Duck Punk, in 2000. So all in all, I have over 30 years of experience, both in front of and behind the camera. And I have produced and directed TV commercials and independent films. Have helped our clients raise sales up to 110%. My last movie opened at AMC theaters and now is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. So here are some of our clients and some of our awards. Okay, my first question to you is, why do we spend so much time, maybe not exactly spend so much time, but why are movies and video games so captivating? Why do we binge all night? And then also, why do we keep playing? We can't really put them down. Why?
Yeah,
Story.
yeah,
Yeah, the story is compelling, right?
yeah.
Exactly. Because there's stories. And we cannot just hit stop because we want to keep on learning. Hey, what's next, right?
Mhm.
So now I'm sure some of you have heard this, and if you have not, the famous line is facts tell, stories sell. How many of you have heard this line, right? Say yes in the chat or no. And if you have not, this is the perfect time for you to hear it the very first time, right? Facts tell, stories really sell. So today we're going to find out and craft our stories to help you sell more. Now, before we do that, I want to go over one fundamental concept. So then when you start crafting your story, it will make it easier for you. Now, why do you think people buy? Can anyone tell me why your customers buy from you? Need or want? Okay. To solve a problem. Yes. Service quality. Have an experience. Okay. Anybody else? Cost savings. Yes. Emotional. Okay. All right. Very good. Go one layer deeper. So people buy because they believe their lives will be better after using your products and services. So that's why A belief is a feeling until we can prove it's true. So that's why you hear people say, "Oh, people don't buy on facts, people buy on emotion." Because a belief is emotional first before it is logical. Now, here's the kicker. After we buy, we do need the facts to justify why we're spending the money. So facts justify and stories move the action. Okay, so it's very important you understand this concept. So when you come to really putting your own story together, really figure out, okay, how are my product or services going to help my customers' lives better? How am I impacting their lives and in what way? Okay, that's going to help you, like I said, put your stories together. All right, the next concept I want to introduce is what is a brand? Can anyone tell me what a brand is? How customers know you? Okay, your image. Okay, anyone else? Perception. Okay, anybody else? Perception is pretty close. Now, is also image and everything? Again, we're going to go one layer deeper, a combination, yes. So a brand is a customer's gut feeling about your company, products, or services. It is not what you say it is what they say it is. So that means the best exercise for you to do after today is go to some of your most loyal and long-term customers. Ask them, what do you think my brand is? If what they tell you is exactly what you think it is, then you're pretty on brand. But if what they tell you is very different from what you think your brand is, so that means you have a little bit of homework to do. But that's okay. It can be modified. It can be fixed, right? So again, it is not what you think it is, it's what they say it is. So what is a brand story? A brand story is an outward expression of who you are, what you stand for, and the value you bring, told in a way that helps your customers understand, trust, and choose you. A lot of times when we put stories together, we always try to, you know, we always try to say, hey, what we do, right? A lot of people really focus on, what they do. But what you do, it's just what you do. You have to also tell a whole story about, who you are, why you started your business, what you stand for, and the value you bring. So with all of that, it becomes a cohesive story. And the reason why it's not just about what you do and how you do it is because when people can truly understand what you bring to the table, it can help build trust, and then it makes it easier for them to choose you. All right, so there are three secrets to a great story. Secret number one, alignment creates coherence. Number two, coherence builds trust. Number three, trust drives behavior. So first of all the elements in your story have to be aligned, and I'm going to go through that. And then when you have alignment, you will have trust. And then when you have trust, you're going to be able to move people. All right, so I have a few examples to illustrate, how you can put your story together. So we worked with this CPA. At the beginning, when he first came to us, he said, "Oh, I just want to have a better elevator pitch." I said, "Okay, great. How have you been pitching yourself?" He said, "Oh, I'm a partner at this firm. I started with like, two other partners, and we go to a lot of networking events. And this is what we say. We say, hi, we're so and so, we're a CPA firm. We love helping our clients save money." I say, okay, great. But why do you help them save money? Why, what's so important about saving money? He said, oh, well, we're CPAs. Obviously, we want to help people save money. I say, yes, that's true. But in order to make that claim, I have to understand the why behind it so that it's not just something you just say out of nothing, right? I mean, every CPA is going to say, hey, we want to help our clients save money. That is almost like a given, right? I say, I want to dig a little bit deeper. He said, okay, fine. So we had a discovery session, and then I asked him a ton of questions. And then after 20 minutes, I still wasn't able to find out why that is important to him. I said, okay, well, maybe your mission is not just about helping people save money. I want to see what's underneath all of that. He said, okay, I don't know what you mean. And I said, okay, let's keep going. dig deeper and deeper and deeper. So after another 10 minutes or so, we found out that his father was audited when he was 9 years old. So he told me he remember standing in the hallway watching his dad go back and forth, trying to put his paperwork together. He said it was a very stressful time for the family because obviously nobody knew how to help. His mother wanted to help. His sister was only 2 years older than him. Everyone just kind of watching, didn't know what to do. And I said, okay, well, so what's more important? Is it really about saving money or is it about helping people so they don't have to go through what your father went through? He said, oh, that's it. It's not, it's more than just saving money. It's about it was such a painful experience and I don't want to have to see anybody else, having to go through that again. I said, okay, well, that changed the story. And I said, okay, well, now if you make the claim, I became a CPA because I don't want other people have to go through what my father went through because as a 9-year old, I watched how painful it was for him to try to put everything together. And then if you are one of our clients, then we're gonna make sure, whatever paperwork, whether it's ready or not, we want to make sure that you will be ready at any given moment. So if that call does come, it'll be no stress, right? So now, if that is really your reason behind it, that's what you stand for, now you can really make the claim because it's real. It came from a true story. It's not manufactured. So that's what I mean by alignment. So now his claim and the reason behind it is aligned. So now when he say the story, it's he can truly claim it. It's not something that he just dreamt up or just came up with. Okay. Now the next example I want to show you. This is a HVAC company. So originally they brought us on because one of the biggest competitors just did a video. And he said, okay, we want a video too. I said, okay, no problem. We can shoot you a video. What do you want to say in your video? He said, oh, we want to show that we are bigger and better. I say, okay, I'm not sure that's the perfect concept for your video. And also, it's a little difficult to show bigger and better. How do you show bigger and better? He said, oh, we can just show that we have more machines, bigger machines, and, so forth. I say, okay, well, I'm not sure that's the right direction, but we can certainly, look into that. And I say, what is getting bigger or just, better mean to you guys, right? So again, we did our discovery and then we found out that, they have been around for 70 years and they truly care for their customers. Some of the employees have been working there for over 19 years and they're strictly B2C. So just consumers, no business. And they're pretty kind of known in the neighborhood. So they really care about their customers, and the owner, he actually at the time before he retired, now they since sold the company. So before he retired, he actually answered all the online inquiries himself. So he took it very, very seriously. And I said, okay, well, since you care so much, and what is your mission? What do you really want to achieve here? And he said, well, we really want to make sure our customers feel good all year round, regardless of whether it's too cold or too hot. So I say, okay, well, I think that's it. We found the concept. It is no matter the weather, we make it better. So we actually, figure out this tagline for them, and they were using it for quite some time. So that became the concept of the story. It's about how we truly service our customers. We care about them, we have a great reputation. Our employees have been working here for a very, very long time. So we were able to showcase those elements about the company, show their customers what they truly stand for. So at the end, their online inquiries did go up because of that. So it's no longer just about bigger and better. You see? So again, I'm showing you how to align, your intent, your business, what you stand for, what you do, your reasons behind it, all of that into this narrative that can truly represent who you are as a business. Now, another example. This is a hotel chain, and they're both B2B and B2C. So before we worked together, the B2B and B2C teams were almost competing with each other because the B2B team, they sell like, huge room blocks, conference spaces, activation rooms. They even have a screening room that they were completely, underutilized, but they have a space, where you can actually drive cars in. So they have a lot of great advantages, and the parking lot is right next door, it's very, very easy. The B2C team, they sell, okay, Peloton rooms, um, wellness rooms, more individualized, right? So, but they never really, have that sort of like narrative arc that sits on top. So after we worked together, I said, okay, well, let's bring the two teams together. What are we truly selling? What do you want to be known for? What do you stand for? And then we came up with something completely new, which is achieve your vision. Now, achieve your vision now sits on top. So whether you're B2B selling conference spaces or you're B2C selling just, 3 nights of stay, is whatever our customers are, we're here to help them achieve your vision. You see how this ties everything together, right? So it's no longer competing. And now they have an overall, narrative arc. And it makes it so much easier. So now they're no longer competing. They have one image, and then the image is, okay, how can we help you achieve your vision, whatever your vision is, whether it's B2B or B2C. So again, this showcase how by bringing everything together under one umbrella, you can truly articulate. Now, there's another, example I want to show. This is a fundraising campaign for a nonprofit called Wellspring Hope. So Wellspring Hope is a nonprofit that drills wells only in Niger, West Africa, so that women and girls don't have to walk miles to bring water back to the villages. Now, so before they sent us to go to Niger, they said, okay, we want the video to showcase the hardship of women and girls having to walk 4 to 5 miles one way to bring clean water back. So after I arrived and talking to all the local NGOs, I realized that the story was actually much deeper and much bigger than that because Nigeria is a Muslim country. So it is a woman's job to go get water. So that means the mothers would take all the girls with her so they can bring more water back. Now, what is the result of that? Girls get yanked out of school. And when they don't stay in school, they get married off at 14. And because they don't practice contraception, so they keep giving birth to babies. Babies keep dying because of contaminated water. I remember talking to a 39-year-old woman at the time, and she gave birth to 9 children, only one survives. So it's really, really heartbreaking. So when I came back, I said, okay, your original concept was good, but if the goal is to truly make people feel the impact of your wells drilling efforts, then we have to go deeper. We have to show, how by having wells, then girls can stay in school. And then when they can stay in school, they can, get a job, support themselves. So they don't have to be married off so young. And then they can actually have a future together. So it can change the entire trajectory of the next generation. So luckily, they agreed. So this is the result of that video. And we were able to raise 390,000 in 3 hours.
Yes, safin group kayan wasu wallahi mu ba har wai borbo ko dotura ya ce kar hun kuna ai ma akani kuma kan jama'a gara ku bari kalla isa kin wai bore wanda safin group ko kai da charmar ai su ba har wai borbo ne ya dake amma son kan safin group ga kesi ya gasi ai bai kan wai bore ngo kwano
Okay, so I'm going to pause here for a second. Does anyone have any questions before I keep going? Feel free to put in the chat. Oh, thank you. Okay. And we can also ask questions at the end too. I have some time at the end as well. Okay, so why great stories don't convert? It's because the message sometimes can be polished, the pitch is refined, visuals are perfect, but story only converts when it's aligned. Now, so what exactly is narrative alignment? It's what you say, what you sell, what you believe, and what you do. So they have to be in structural alignment. You remember those examples that I showed you? You know, the CPA, right? Before, he was just claiming, hey, we're here to help you save more money. He's not really truly sharing his real story, which was he doesn't want people to go, you know, to have to go through what his father went through. Now, the story, because it's true, it relates, right? So it just makes it believable, can build trust, everything. That's the HVAC company, right? It's not about bigger and better. It's like, really, what do they stand for? Who are they? Right? How are they, you know, really want to help their customers? It's not about getting more business. It's about, okay, we truly want our customers to feel comfortable all year round. The hotel, right? You know, the competing B2B, B2C, you know, once everything is aligned, we're here to achieve your vision. Then boom, everything makes sense. All right. So signs of misalignment. You keep rewriting your pitch. You find yourself over explaining. You feel more confident in private sharing your story than in public. Your team interprets your message differently. And you keep attracting the wrong clients. Now, so that's why, to me, this is sort of our doctrine. Internal alignment creates external authority. So alignment is always the foundation, and the storytelling is the expression. Now, so why these campaign work? Again, because the organization behind them aligned internally before they told the story. All right, so you ask me, oh, great, I have my story together now, but where am I going to use it? Now, so these are the places you could use it. On your capability statement, your presentation deck, your emails, your ad campaigns, your blogs, your newsletters, your brochures, your podcasts, your books, your keynote speeches, your workshops, your trade shows, social media, video. I mean, the list just goes on, right? All right. So this is kind of like my favorite moment. So I always have some hot seat moments in my workshops so that I invite people to come on screen and then share their story with me so I can help you put it together better. So who is willing to come on the hot seat? This is a perfect like teaching moment. And I can go back. So again, You got to have the alignment because alignment creates coherence. Coherence builds trust. Trust drives behavior. Okay, so Shannon, are you ready? If not, I can give you another minute. 1 minute. Okay. Now, while Shannon is getting ready, does anybody have any questions? Has this been cleared? Do you have an idea about how you can put your story together? Clear, right? Okay, good. Now, after today, can I have your commitment to actually do this? Because learning, hey, good, I know how to do it, but not actually doing it is not going to get you anywhere, right? So, can I have your commitment to do this? Today is what? Today's Wednesday. To look at this, to have your commitment to at least go back to it and take a crack at this before the end of this week. Say yes if I have your commitment in the chat box. So I know you're actually going to do something after this. Good. Okay. Good. Because otherwise it just becomes information if you don't use it. All right. Very good. Okay. So Heidi, are you ready? Oh, Shannon, not Heidi. Shannon, are you ready?
Yes. Can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes, I can see you. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, so where do you want me to start about my story? Just long
Just
story short.
start.
Okay.
Well, okay, first of all, how long is your story right now?
Depends on if I'm pitching a 1 minute pitch or a 3 minute pitch.
Okay, let's do a short version.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So normally I would say, hi, my name is Shannon Kerr. And when I was 19 years old, I solved a problem that millions of people have all around the world. I started wearing a sock called a no-show sock, which is a little sock that barely covers your toes. It's open on the top. And when I started wearing this sock and I was walking around, I realized that that sock kept sliding off of my feet and getting bunched underneath. And it was so frustrating that I had to solve the problem for myself, which is why I designed Heidi socks with a comfortable anklet to guarantee that your sock will stay in place all day long comfortably. And when I was designing the socks, I realized that bamboo fiber is naturally breathable. So we also designed them with breathable bamboo. We partnered with Swarovski crystals, so you can put them in the washer and in the dryer. And we have been selling on our website, on QVC.com, Kohl's.com, and we are currently working on corporate gifting.
Okay. So, okay, I want to get some opinion in the chat room. Do you like her pitch? Put in the chat if you like it.
Thank you, Connie.
Good.
You
Okay.
guys are so
Now,
sweet.
is there anything that you think can be altered or added or taken away? This is a safe room, so
Yeah. And don't worry, you won't hurt my feelings. I have thick skin. I am an
and she has
entrepreneur.
been doing it for a while, so Susan Ohan when it comes to pitching. What's the ask? Ah, okay, that depends, right? Okay, so my suggestion is knowing that it came from a personal experience, that's perfect, right? Because that's when people can relate. But
Right.
I would actually move that experience first before you said you solved it at 19 because I don't know what you solved at 19.
Right.
So you can actually start with that problem.
Mm,
Have you ever worn a pair of socks that get stuck? Then you
right.
keep wanting to pull it every time you have a chance when you sit down. Isn't that annoying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Right?
That.
Start with
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Now, I had that experience when I was 19. And I just got tired of keep pulling, the sock up. So I decided to do something about it.
Right.
That's when I decided to invent something that will solve that problem millions and millions of people have. That came Heidi socks. Boom.
I love the sound effects.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think that would like pique people's interest a little bit more
Hmm.
because you're not just talking about yourself, right?
Right.
I mean, it's the same story, but you're just rearranging the order
Right.
to make it, more relevant for, faster. So you pull people in earlier when you do that. Instead of
So,
they have to sit through, oh wait, you solve a problem,
mhm,
okay, what is this problem? Right? It just took
right.
longer before, but now it gets there quicker.
Right. Do we have time for me to ask a quick question?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so normally when I'm doing this pitch, it's a audience of males and females. And a lot of the times males have not experienced this problem because they don't normally wear the little no-show
Right.
socks that I'm talking about. So how do I capture the whole audience and not just the people in the room who have worn no-show socks?
Good question. I guess for the guy audience, you can let's see. Well, let me think for a sec. You can add something like this. You can say, well, obviously, this is this is a this is a girl's problem because we tend to wear and buy no-show socks. And if you're a guy, you may not actually have bought one of those pairs, but you can go home and ask, your daughter, your wives, or girlfriends. I'm sure they'll tell you they had this experience. Something
Okay.
like that, if you want to completely relate, and then they can buy it for them.
Mm,
You
yeah.
see? So
Okay.
it's not just women buying for themselves.
Right.
They
Okay.
can become a parent. Hey, whether you've heard it before or not, now it's a surprise gift,
Amazing. I love that.
right? Any other question?
No, that's great. Thank you for your help, Melissa. I know that there was somebody else in the who wanted
Yeah,
to take the
absolutely.
time.
I don't know who was second in line. Somebody said they're second.
Thanks, Melissa. See you
Sure.
later. Bye.
See you later.
Thanks for this opportunity. My name is Clara Tavares. I am a Dominican Latina who is currently working in an ecosystem as a founder of the Dominican Chamber of Commerce here in California, trying to create, connect, empower, and elevate entrepreneurs, professionals, and leaders. I've been in California for the last 10 years, 11 years, just to be exact, coming from New York, but most of my time, as many, I spent uh, over 25 years in New York. So most of my life is been in the US, not getting myself disconnected from my roots, my culture is a way for me to preserve and offer opportunity to others, Latinos, or immigrants in the same position. So if there is any opportunity for us to embrace you, you're more than welcome to check our pages and in wccd.org. That's about it. It's
Okay.
something like that.
Okay. So how long has this chamber been around?
Is since 2022.
So 4 years.
It's 44 years
Okay.
currently.
And so you're based here in SoCal, correct?
That is correct.
And then your chamber is also based here in SoCal, or is it
In
a
California,
national? So
absolutely. It's
so
here
in
in
California, not just
yes,
SoCal, right?
in Los Angeles, yes.
Oh,
But
in
we
Los
are,
Angeles. So it's a
yes,
Los Angeles chamber. It's not a national chamber,
it
correct?
is not a national, not a
Okay. So
national.
local,
It's
right?
a local one, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what is your mission again?
Um, my mission is being just to connect, like connecting, empowering, elevating the entrepreneurship and professionals in leaders in the area. I was
But especially for Puerto Ricans, correct?
Dominicans,
Oh, Dominicans, sorry, yeah,
yes,
especially for Dominicans, right?
for Dominicans,
Right.
especially because we are not that many in this area.
Okay.
We are more focused on the East Coast,
Okay.
and I have seen that many of us, when coming from maybe from state or even sometimes from our own countries, we are looking for that tribe, for that group of people that you can definitely feel your culture, you can celebrate it, and you can definitely,
Okay.
live it.
Okay. So why is that important to you?
I would say, and that's what's behind coming from the East Coast to the West Coast. I found myself kind of alone in a way, and trying to probably perfectly connect first with the people around, and just to go and get and flavor my culture, my gastronomy. So it's been difficult finding them here. So anytime that I need to experience it, so probably I will need it to either go back or go back to my country. But
Okay.
at this point, I have constructed, I have built, I'm building more likely, because it's not, I'm not there yet,
Okay.
building that
And
community.
have you been an entrepreneur yourself?
Yes.
And how long have you been your own boss?
Um, among all the hats, Melissa,
That's
I am a
okay. Yeah.
realtor. I'm a real estate agent,
Okay.
also, we're licensing here. So this is the way that I started it. And I
Okay.
also wanted to serve, people who have less opportunities on that regard. So I
Yeah. So
started with my own community.
how long have you been a real estate agent?
Listen, I started back in 2004 while I was living in New York.
2004. Okay.
Right.
All
And
right.
now that I'm here, I started on 2020. Then
Okay.
a lot of
Okay.
things
All
have
right.
happened since then.
Okay. So I would encourage you to really start from your own experience, right? So you can say something like, well, I have been an entrepreneur since 2004, and I used to live in New York. And after I moved to California, especially LA, I realized that connection was not as easy. And I was starting to miss my tribe and miss home. And obviously, I can't go home all the time. So I decided to start a chamber for Dominicans. I really want to create, a community where if you're an entrepreneur, we welcome you and we want to become your sounding board. So we have been around for 4 years and we have, I don't know if you have programs or anything, we have programs, we have events, come check us out, join us and we welcome you, something like that, right? So at least people understand why that is important to you and why, I mean, your mission, who you are, what are you about, right? So that's more clear. Instead of, hey, I'm just having a chamber, but why?
Absolutely. Thank
Is
you
that
so, so
helpful?
much. Absolutely. Thank you, Melissa.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right, I can take one more person. If you're ready, go for it.
Okay, so I am a single mom. So, and I've been through a couple of, as a single mom and having gone through two tragedies in my family, my brother passing away when he was 20, um, my dad passing away when he was 58, and pretty much like right after, you know, I became a single mom probably like a month after my dad passed. I saw the struggle, especially when my brother was 20, when he passed away, the GoFundMe's, the unpreparedness. And then when my dad passed, my mom was kind of contemplating like, what was she going to do? So that's what pivoted me to becoming a financial advisor, um, because of the fact that I saw the small preparedness that my dad had done for the family, which allowed my mom to be stress free and be able to live her life retired without having to worry about, I have to go back to work because now I have to live for myself because my husband's no longer here. I mean, I'm here helping my mother out and everything, but it's when my brother had passed, it was GoFundMe's. Luckily, he had a ton of friends. We had to bury him right away. And obviously, the funerals want their money right away, they don't wait. Um, so that transition, I think that's what woke up my dad's eyes to try to prepare his family in case something happened. And so with that, my mom was able to live her life without having to worry about finances because my mom's a big finance warrior. So that allowed me to pivot, to become a financial advisor from what I was doing before.
So how long have you
That's what I
been
do.
a financial advisor?
I am going into my 5th year right now.
Okay. Um, and do you work specifically with, families who are going through loss, or do you work specifically with women or men? Does it matter, or it's just across the board?
Um, I mean, it's across the board, but my niche, what I have seen that I've started to find is mothers with children,
Mm,
single moms or moms transitioning from like being married, going through a divorce and then being on
mhm,
their own. Latino professionals, because I do speak Spanish and
mm,
English, and then working with, older generation Latinos, because we don't have that understanding it. There's a lot of
mm.
education that goes through it,
Right,
and it's making the families understand together, not just, the senior by themselves,
right.
understand together how to prepare themselves just in case. I mean, whether they take my advice or not, at least I, gave them something to kind of think about.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
so again, I would, like Shannon, I would encourage you to start with that question
Hmm.
because everybody has lost someone,
Hmm.
whether it's immediate family or relative, right? We have been through it. It's, it's the path of life that no matter how much that we don't want to, we can't escape that, right? So you
Yeah.
can say, how many of you have, you know, how many of you have lost a relative, a parent, a sibling, a child, right? So some people is gonna, oh yeah, they can relate, right? And then you can say, okay, I lost my brother when he's 20 or when you were 20.
He was 20.
Right. So I lost my brother when he was, only 20. And my dad saw that. And because of that experience, that made my dad more prepared when it comes to his own affairs. So when he finally, not finally, when he left us, he was able to have something put away. So my mom didn't have to, worry about anything. My mom, was able to retire, and just kind of go on with her life. And that inspired me to become a financial advisor because I know in our community, not a lot of people want to touch this subject. And even when they want to talk about it, maybe people are not so open to be talking about it. So I want to help families to kind of debunk that myth because there is something that you can do in case of the what if. And I've been doing
Okay.
that for 5 years. And I specialize in, helping families to prepare for things like that, something like that,
Okay.
because like this is not an easy topic, right?
No, at
Exactly,
all.
exactly. But it is something that the more you talk about it, the more prepared you are, right? We're all just preparing for the what if. So you can address that. You can say, I know this is not an easy topic, but having the right mindset will help you get more prepared if that day does come, right? Of course, we hope that it's going to come a lot later than sooner, but that is not something we can control. So I'm here to, help families to kind of, get over that mindset, be able to talk about it, and then have a plan so that if something does happen, they don't, their lives can still remain the same instead of, having to scramble or trying to, live very differently, something
Yeah.
like that, right?
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank you.
does that help?
That helped. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, so any other questions?
Leo did ask if Clara, can you share your website, which you did.
Okay,
Okay, thank you, Clara. And then Shannon did add her
Thank you.
LinkedIn profile. So in
okay,
case we wanted to find out further about those magical socks, I did ask myself in the chat if there were some without crystals, because sometimes, some people like bling, some don't, but at least
correct.
there's a variety. And someone did
Yeah.
also mention that there's men who do wear those no-show socks.
Oh,
So
really?
it could
Oh,
be
nice.
an option, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Guess if they're wearing loafers, right?
True. Absolutely. All right. So I do have a thank you gift for you guys. It is a free ebook on the three secrets of an impactful elevator pitch. Now, if you want that ebook, it's just a few pages long, very easy to read. The best thing is to connect with me on LinkedIn, message me on LinkedIn, and I will send that to you.
All right, perfect.
Okay. All right. So here's, my info. And my tagline is internal alignment creates external authority. So again, when you put your story together, the more factual it is, the better. Make sure everything is aligned. Ask your, favorite customers, long-term customers, low customers, what they think your brand is. Try to see if you're on brand. And you already made a commitment to, go back, listen to it again, or try putting your story together. So, in the future, if I see you at any chamber events, you shouldn't have any trouble telling me your story. And I'm going to hold you to it.
How long do you think people's story should be? Should it be, people talk about the 30-second pitch, 60-second, but when you're telling the story, I know it's really hard to condense it to under a minute. But when you want to make an impact, and I think you're right, share your experience first because that will show people that you thought of your idea or of your service.
It came
So
from
it
a real
sets the tone
experience.
that you
Yeah.
know what you're
Mhm.
talking about based on experience. But
Right.
how long should that be?
Now, I encourage every one of you to have a few different versions. So
Hmm.
you definitely need to have a 30-second. Now, ideally, a minute is good because then it gives you a little bit more time to tell the backstory, right? Because some of you, have a backstory. And then when it's too short, sometimes you don't have time to elaborate. So the 1 minute version is definitely, my favorite because it gives you a little bit more time. But sometimes when you're at an event, they don't give you a minute. Sometimes it's, hey, I'm timing everybody. You only get 30 seconds. So obviously the 30 seconds would be a condensed version of your 1 minute, right? So you fit, what you can in that 30 seconds. And then you should also have a longer version, and the longer version could be 90 seconds, but I would encourage not to have it more than 90 seconds unless you're pitching something very specific and they say, hey, I'm going to give you 3 minutes, right? And that's a very, very long pitch. But if you don't say give you 3 minutes, I would have a 30 second, 60-second, and a 90-second version. And that should really cover you, wherever you go.
Yeah. And should that be tied into the message you write on your website or on your LinkedIn or any bio that you have?
Yes, absolutely, right? Coherence, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're telling me a story from your pitch, and then when I go to your website, I see a completely different story, then you're creating a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And then when disconnect, like the opposite of coherence, right? And then what doesn't build trust, right? So coherence builds trust. So it has to be coherent. Your website, your pitch, if you have a book, or your workshops, your speech, whatever that is, your capability statement again, right? So your pitch should tie it together with your capability statement. You can't just pitch it one way and then have a completely different story on your capability statement. I would not encourage that at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, because I know of organizations that they do really great work. You go on their website and it's a bit feeble, so it's not coherent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I would encourage everybody to be as coherent as you can, really. That's the key. Because and also it enforces your messaging, right? If
Mhm.
people hear it, people see it multiple times, then people
Mhm.
will remember. Because, chances are if people only hear it once, they're not going to remember. They see it once, they're not going to remember, right? But if they see it and hear it multiple times, they're going to go, oh, okay, now I get it, right? And then next time when they buy something like that, oh, okay, I remember I see it somewhere and now I'm going to, go buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one last question to get off the subject. Why did you call your company Dunk Punk?
Oh, the name of it?
Yes.
Okay, there's a story behind it.
Let's
So
hear
back
the story. Let's hear
Yeah,
your
so
story.
back in 2000, I was trying to find a name for my company.
Mhm.
And I just happened to be at this lake and there were a bunch of ducks, floating around, swimming in the lake. And somebody left a bag of breadcrumbs on the bench. So I started feeding the ducks with breadcrumbs. And there came a mohawk duck, just like my logo. And as I was finishing, the breadcrumbs, the mohawk duck would still charge over to get to the food. So in the end, when I'm done, I was like, wait, you've been eating this whole time. How can you still be eating? Aren't you full by now, right? How much more can you eat? So that night I went home, I couldn't shake that image off my head. So I started playing with the word punk rock, punk dog, and mohawk. And then 6 weeks later, I decided to name my company Duck Punk, but that's half of the story. Now, at the time, my justification was because my last name is Tong. So by alphabetical order, I'm always on the last or second last page. So I thought if I have a company, I don't want to be Punk Duck because I'm P, right? So P is toward the end. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna flip the order, call it Duck Punk. So at least I have a D now, right? I'm a little bit, more in front.
I know.
But years later, I work in entertainment advertising, right? It's very, very cutthroat. So that duck became my inspiration because every time I fall, I have to jump over a hurdle. I have to remind myself to be like him and never give up.
Yeah.
So he became my hero.
Oh, nice story.
Yeah. So, and then over the years, I had sales reps who asked me, oh, people will never hire you. That name is too funky. People won't take you seriously. But somehow I stuck to it. And now people love that story.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
great job. So I
Thank
want to
you.
thank everyone for sticking around and joining us. I hope you took some golden nuggets away that you can apply. And this recording will be available, I would say, Friday on our website at lalcc.org. We do have a tab under resources, and it'll say small business webinar. So you can view any of our past webinars, including this one, on demand to help you at any given time. So thank you for joining us on a Wednesday afternoon and take care. And
Thank
thank you,
you.
Melissa.
Okay. All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.